Namaskaram and good morning to everyone. Well, I'm not an environmentalist, nor am I a scientist, and you can obviously see that I'm not a woman. So, I can speak about women's issues because I was embodied in a woman's body, so I have the right to speak. When it comes to environment, I never studied these things, but from a very early age, my engagement with rivers, forests and mountains of southern India was very deep, to an extent where when I was just 10, 11 years of age, I would just get lost in the jungles of the southern India. I lived off the jungles. For most of you, even if you go to a forest, you go and stay in a resort, you don't understand what I'm saying, living off a jungle, what it means. It needs a completely different kind of approach and understanding of what life is around you. So when for days on end, sometimes for weeks, when I got lost in the jungles, in my experience, it was never like that this is nature, okay, this is a tree, this is a river, this is an animal, this is an elephant, this is a tiger. No, when you live there by yourself without any protection, those are days when you don't have any communication, no phones, not even a torch. A torch was a big thing. I wouldn't have a torch. So when you live like this in the jungle, you experience this as an extension of yourself, a life larger than yourself. When I was 17 years of age, I floated down the Kaveri river, which unfortunate images of the river you see today, it's all sand. This wonderful river, which is the bread for two southern states in India, I floated down Kaveri river 163 kilometers, 13 days, on just 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos. I lived off the river. And why I'm saying about this is, unfortunately, this experience and this connect is missing in the world today. That is why we are doing what we are doing. We are doing everything wrong, simply because we have no clue what it is in terms of life. We only know it as an academic subject. In the last 25 years, I've been watching with great concern how this Kaveri river is depleting. Every year on year, it's going down. 2 states are literally waging war for water between them as to who should get more. Even right now, there's a Supreme Court thing going on. It's going on endlessly. But nobody wants to do the right thing about reviving the river. Everybody is talking about how much can I get and how much can you get. Particularly in the last 7 to 8 years, the depletion is so sharp. Well, there the statistics say it's 39% depletion in Kaveri, but in my experience it's nearly 60%, what it used to be. About 3.5 months in 2017, the Kaveri did not even touch the ocean, it just dried up. When we launched a painting competition in over 130,000 schools across India, you won't believe, lot of children painted river. River in their mind was just sand. They actually painted pictures of sand, not of water. That is how the future generation understands a river, that it is a large bank of sand, that parents are taking them there in the moonlight at school and they play in the river, that's just sand, no water. So this is where we are driving it. I don't want to go into all the statistics in terms of what is the level of depletion across the country. It's phenomenal. On an average, all rivers in India have depleted 60%. From what I hear, all rivers across the world have depleted about 35%. For this, there are many reasons, but the fundamental reason is you and me have not been concerned enough about it. There are many, many technical reasons that we can go into, but essentially, we have not activated a large mass of humanity to be a part of it. Ecological movements means always 15 people standing in the street corner and protesting about something. Everybody thinks these are some eco-nuts. So this is why we went into this rally for rivers where we wanted the nation to be engaged in a big way. 162 million people participated and it's become a movement, and now lawmaking is happening, action on the ground is beginning to happen. This is not a full solution. Solution needs lot more effort and time and a sustained effort. It's not like we do something this year and forget about it, next year it's not going to work. What I see is right now, it's wonderful that tomorrow they're launching this a decade of action for water revival or river revival. If we do it now, I would say in 15 to 25 years, we can bring back the rivers of this world at least by 20% up. If we do it after 10 years or 15 years later, let's say we start 2030 and then start working, it will take 100 to 150 years to have the same impact. This I am not saying with any kind of statistics attached to it. I'm watching these things every day. I live in this world and I have a certain sense of attention to what's happening. If we don't act now, the recovery will take much, much longer. And in this, when water becomes scarce, the first person who suffers most is the woman, always, in the rural societies. On an average, they're saying in the world, a whole lot of women, nearly about 800 million women, take 6 hours just to gather water for their family. 6 hours. I want you to just imagine, 6 hours of your life goes into just getting water. And obviously, when you have to carry water, all the beautiful things that water does to you and me on a daily basis, that will not be possible. Barely drink and make sure your children are fed or something like this, beyond that it will not go. So water shortages always hit the women first and then the others. So right now we are still in that state in this world, it is hitting the women very badly. Men are still managing to drink arak when there is no water, you know. But that will go after some time, they will also suffer. Right now they think they have a solution in a bottle, but that solution will go after a while. So what is the solution for this? See, one thing is agriculture. In India, agriculture consumes 84% of the river water. In the rest of the world, it averages somewhere around 68 to 70% of the water is consumed by agriculture. In Europe, it's around 25%. In America, it's around 40%. Why this is so is there is a distinct difference between nations which are located from 0 to 33 degrees latitude and what is above. So generally, whatever I speak is within 33 degrees latitude because here the precipitation is of a certain kind. For example, in India, the precipitation or the rain is approximately 45 to 50 days in a year on an average across the nation. The water that comes down in these 45 days, we must have the ability to hold it in the land for 365 days. This is where the real problem is. In Europe, the average rainfall and snowfall put together is about 170 days of precipitation. And there is an advantage with snow, it stays there and slowly melts down, giving time for the earth to absorb the water. But when it comes to heavy monsoon showers, if you don't have the necessary vegetation to hold it, the moment it comes, it's a runoff.